Hello everyone, this is Brian, and welcome back to Fallout New Vegas You Only Live Once Hardcore Edition, the game where we never heal, ever. So last time we went in Vault 11 and got the second of the little vault prizes we need for the Brotherhood to get a power armor from them. And we've only got one vault to go, but before we do that vault, we want to be ready to do the other quest that is in that vault, because there are some bugs that make some of those quests all want to be done at once, or you can't ever do them. And so we are journeying south down the road. Now there is a highway whatever Viper camp up here, and it's unsurprisingly full of Vipers. I just want to sneak up on them. It's the only real obstacle on our way down the most direct way from Novak down to Cottonwood Cove. And these guys are pretty easy to pick off. So we're just gonna kind of carefully come down here. That little trailer you see by the side of the road there, that 18-wheeler trailer, that marks kind of the beginning of where the camp is. So I just need to get up here to where I'm in range to see them, but not in range for them to get me. Get a little bit of armor on. Get our critical hit hat going. And a sniper rifle. There they are. Now we can see them. One down. There's a number of these guys, but it's not as scary as you'd expect from an encampment. The one thing that could happen here is if you run into one of them and they have a grenade gun, well, then you don't want to be getting hit by the one with the grenade gun. So again, kind of stay at long range. I think actually, I'm not sure grenade guns work at super long range. I don't propose to test that theory in this episode. But we are just going to pick away at any bad guys. I'm surprised. Is that all there were? I think there were just about 2. I've certainly found 4 here. So we're going to come up carefully. Nothing. So the quest that we're going to do, Daba Honeymoon, that is for the Great Khans. Those are the ones out in Red Rock Canyon. And they've got one of their little drug runner friends who went down to do something in Legion Land. And basically they've got him crucified. And we're going to go let him down from the cross. Because, hey, even a drug runner maybe doesn't deserve to be crucified. And that will make us better friends with the Great Khans, and allow us to continue. Oh, well. Oh. Well, that's a pretty interesting place to find her. I had no idea she came all the way down here. Do you think that's a bug, or does she just do that? Well, I think I know what happened to the rest of the Vipers. I'm sure her mercenaries must have aggroed them and done them in. That was some excitement. Maybe not super exciting, but sort of weird. Just see if they had anything good in their camp here. I imagine we can get ourselves a couple sarsaparilla bottle caps. Never know what's going to be in an ammunition box. Nothing over there. In spite of seeing those mercenaries walk by, I'm just can't believe there were only like 2 people. But I guess they must have come down this road here, come across the Come across the hill? Sometime I'm going to have to follow her and see what her patrol is, because that's just a wild place to have her end up. Well, I guess we might as well clean out their other stuff. See what they got. The bodies. They left the grenade rifle in the box. Alright, so then heading south this way, there is... The next things I expect to find are bloatflies, but they got some cute little loot in here, so we'll just... At this point, bloatflies aren't too much of a worry, but I'm just gonna plink them from a distance, because why take a couple of hit points of damage when you don't need to? Classic varmint rifle, plinking from a distance strategies, and these guys aren't even coming over to see me. Go. Now off to the left might be something more bad, but that's why we're staying over here. Here we have the wrecked highwayman. The wrecked highwayman has some interesting loot. There's both the little chunks of microfusion cells and so forth just sitting right out in the trunk, but then there's that chest itself, which is often good for some decent loot. We're just going to pick a bunch of this stuff up here. Nothing in the footlocker. Okay, well, anyway, there's some stuff. And we're going to give Edie the stuff that we don't want to carry. And we're going to continue south. The next thing I predict I will find is cows. We're going to go through some cows. And those are always fun. Good for some experience points. Good for some target practice. And we will do some cowity cow from a distance. Over there. Not sure I'm going to bother with him. The problem, again, I have Edie, so everything appears on the scope with way too long. For way too long. I've got to, at this point with Edie, I've got to wait a certain number of game days, and I don't trust it to work if I don't have her as a companion, so we're just going to have some Edie. The plan is, so Edie is eventually the Brotherhood is going to get in touch with me about Edie, and I want to go back to the Brotherhood at the same time I go for that. At the same time I go back to, at last, cache the vault prizes to get my power armor. Animal control perk, level 2. So we have controlled some animals. All that stuff is in the distance off to our flank. Now, there are some golden geckos that we would have to go more a little further down the road at that abandoned plant. It's hard to resist some extra shots at a cow. Blink. Alright. Off we go. Again, we're just heading south, trying to get to Cottonwood Cove. Making sure that there's nothing too scary. Plus, I'll probably be coming back the same way, so I kind of want to clean this out. Take things, shoot things that I'm tired of having this bloatfly show up on my vats every time I do it, so I might go ahead and plink him. Plus, that, again, when I'm coming back this way, I won't have to keep having that happen again. Are these guys cows? And one of the ways you know, you can use your compass, first of all, keep heading south here. And eventually you're sort of looking for the water tower. And the water tower marks the beginning of the radioactive searchlight area, which we're not going to be going into that radioactive area this time. But that's kind of turn left at water tower and head off east to the to Cottonwood Cove is my method, and there's some fun little things that we can do on the way. A little bit of extra looty loot to collect, and we can turn in one of the things, one of the codes for the ranger bases. All right, so now we have emptied out some of this stuff. Little prospector camp, just map marker, and it just has miscellaneous things and a bottle cap. Take a nice apple to eat. Since we are in hardcore mode, there's the water tower on the horizon. As we get down to where we can see the water tower, that means we're going to start encountering ghouls. Glowing trooper ghouls. So these guys, you want to keep at a distance. They can come up and radioactive you. They're more or less like ghouls. They look like they have a little bit of armor on them, so they might, but I don't think they have much. If they do, I'm certainly not getting any armor markers on it, so it may only be the illusion of armor. But they're basically NCR guys that had a radioactive accident, and now they're mad. They are no longer friendly to the NCR or indeed to us. So we're just gonna make sure we. The one problem with glowing trooper ghouls is they're kind of fast, you know, as their brethren tend to be. So you just don't want to get us have a bad surprise. Make sure my ED scope is all good. Clear myself out a path around here. That's not a ghoul. Not a ghoul. Anybody else? Mole rats. Alright, fine. I don't think mole rats are going to do me much harm, but they're going to show up on my scope. Make me think there's something scary, so we're going to get rid of them. Ha! Edie. Don't do that. No surprises in ghoul country. Okay, now if we sneak up here, there are a couple of little locations that are actually pretty safe to clean out. I will show you what they are. So the Coyote Mines, there's a guy. Almost got him in one shot. Plooge. Caution, huh? Is there another one? Alright, well, up here on the top of this hill is the Coyote Mine, outbuilding. Guess he must be behind that rock over there. And it has a little bit of stuff, always worth a check, and there's nothing harmful inside, so we will just clean it out of its various little things. What you get here, it's basically free loot. Kind of spooky. Alright, so now we're back out here. Being a... Hi. Hi, Edie. Oh, there he is. Finally came out. Come on. There we go. And he was not a glowing trooper. He's merely a troopery ghoul. A feral trooper ghoul. So then, there's a mine underneath. And this mine is completely empty of life or bad things. So we can just kind of clean it right out. Just take all the stuff. Now there's a different mine, which is like the Searchlight mine. You don't want to really go in there unless you like ghouls. That's, there's ghouls. There's ghouls. So, in here we can get a whole bunch of dynamite, which is mostly useful because we can sell it. And then, heading right across the top of this ridge to the north, we can get to the ranger station, and we will find the rangery person, and there's your codes. Now, the way I'm going to get to Cottonwood Cove from here is over the top of this first ridge to the south of the ranger station. And by going along the ridge, there's just nothing up here for some reason. There aren't any bad things. You would think you get a good view. But down in that direction is Cottonwood Cove, and that direction is Searchlight with all of its scary radioactivity and so forth. Interesting quest to do in there, but I'm not going to go pick up a million rads just to do it. But heading down the ridge toward Cottonwood Cove, we can get to the sniper nest. And the sniper nest has a nice little piece of loot, in addition to the usual kinds of loot. So in this gun case, we are already able to do very hard things. The Gobi's Campaign Scout Rifle. Now that does more damage than our sniper rifle. It doesn't have a... doesn't let you silence it. So that, as we level up, are our thoughts. I may just sell the Gobi rifle. I sometimes use it. It just kind of depends on whether you want a lot of silence or whether you want a lot of damage. So we're going to get some speech and some science. Just move those things on the track. And the bottle cap. Pieces of random loot. Pieces of random ammo. See if we can make anything at the convenient campfire. Ooh, snakebite tourniquets. Those will come in handy if we... Those are poison removals automatic. So when we get to the time of fighting terrible poisonous bees, then we will be happy to have some snakebite tourniquets if they stick us. All right, looking down on Cottonwood Cove, and now it's a pretty straight shot. We could even use the quest arrow if we wanted to, but I kind of know where he is. So here is Anders. Our main goal in coming down here was to let him down off the cross. Are you Anders?
Thank God.
And we're going to let him down. Okay, so that is the next stage of Daba Honeymoon completed. But while we're in Cottonwood Cove, we are going to go discover it first of all. Let's say hi to some legionaries. So we actually have another little quest we can fire off in here. What? I'm just humble trader passing through. Thank you. And there's that guy just standing right up on the top of his tower, being all big and legiony. So let's get some clothes on to talk to him. Aurelius of Phoenix. And we are not going to test his patience, but we are going to get his quest. Now, this is the guy that is the most useful in getting your reputation with the Legion up, if you choose to do so. And you have to do it by turning in dog tags. And it takes something like 110 dog tags to get your Legion favorability all the way up to what's it called? Beloved or whatever the thing is, revered. Wow, I can't even think of the word of what it is. But to get to the very top level, and if you get to that top level, then even if the Legion gets really mad at you, they won't send their assassin squads after you because you'll only be a wild child. And so that would be one option, is coming up with 110 of those dog tags. The problem is 110 dog tags
is the armor of a Centurion.
That's a lot of dog tags, and the main place that dog tags come from is NCR soldiers, and the main way you get those is by killing NCR, and so then I'd be getting them mad at me. Now, there's the event coming up where I could get forgiven by both the NCR and the Legion, but I'm just not sure that that's worth the risk even.
Please, ma'am, take pity on
So
her.
meanwhile, here's Mrs. Weathers. And remember, Frank Weathers wanted us to find his family and free it from slavery. So here they are. Now, there's a specific guy that wanders around here, a canyon runner. We got to find him. He seems to, fortunately, we're here during the day, but because he seems to disappear from the map entirely at night, as far as I can tell. But you find him during the day, and he will sell you the captures, and you'll sell them to you for less if you blather at him a little bit. And so we'll give him 150 caps, and we have won the right to let those guys out. We don't need to argue with him anymore. We will just say, come out. Now, you can also let these guys off without, by picking the lock, and you have to get the key to their slave collars, etc., etc. So there's other ways. There's, violent and miscellaneous ways, or you can kill them, etc., etc. But we chose to be good guys. So now, there's another little run of things I tend to like to do in this direction. Now, notice when you're down here on the lake, you can just drink that stuff for free, and it's not radiated. But over here, you can get a good vantage point on these lake lurks that stand down by that those old resort buildings. And so lake lurks, so they are actually quite deadly if they get to close range. They have this sonar attack, and I think the reason they're so deadly is I think they ignore armor. So they're probably not as deadly if you're playing on a lower difficulty level. But if they ignore armor and you're playing on very hard, then they do extra huge amounts of damage very quickly. But at long range, they're not very detecty, and they're not very chasey. And so they tend to, from long range with sniper rifles, just stand there and do nothing whatsoever. And you can pick them off, and you can get all their experience points. Keep on moving up the levels. Just keep plinking at him. Boom. So there tends to be that one guy that stands near the first building, then there's this group over here, and then there's a couple more groups a little further down the beach, and we'll go get those. They are pretty rich in experience points. My ED meter is making me nervous. There's a guy. Squitch he goes. There's these funny pinto beans plants here, but I've never found much worth doing with pinto beans. I guess you can just eat them. Eat them for food. Well, it's always funny to come so far away, far afield, and suddenly discover a brand new kind of ingredient or food that you've never found before. There's still this guy over here. We'll just drink some drink. Do our classic jalapenos trick there. Okay, there we go. That's that guy. He's keeping caution, and now he's being in dead. Alright, so now we're going to go this way. So I see there's a couple more groups. Those guys should all be lake lurks. And they will just happily stand in groups while we plink them from a distance. You just have to go in real cautious about your flanks. You don't want to get surprised by one of these guys. One of these guys up close will just rip you apart before you even know what's going on. And there's some places where you find these guys indoors, as it were, and I try to stay away from those places because it's a little bit lose your whole character-y. But this area where you can get them from a good long distance, they are just not a problem. More group of them, and we'll be on our way. Now, those little buildings down in the water, you can go swim underneath them and get a little bit of loot. Maybe a book or a magazine, but mostly I don't bother. You can take the rebreather so you don't have to do the irritating swim thing. There we go. Got our travel point. Shot it in the left elbow, and he died. Can't remember what the story is on lake lurks. I don't think they're supposed to be people, but I don't know for sure. Lake lurks accounted for. Lots of experience gained. So I think their base rate is 50 points. I mean, I'm in Logan's Run mode, but they're 50 XP per. So now I can run up here, and there's a little prospector's camp, which essentially has nothing except maybe this bottle cap. But this prospector camp kind of marks the border of an area where you can find some fire geckos. There's often a fire gecko down in here. So we'll just get him out. He has no armor, so he is just completely vulnerable to our headshot. Alright. Now, we are going to head back this way, because before we can do any further things with the Legion of Cottonwood Cove, I need to sneak around this water tower, because I'm looking for Sergeant Astor, because I want to get Sergeant Astor's quest. And the reason I want to get Sergeant Astor's quest, so Sergeant Astor is this guy that patrols outside this radioactive area, but he's mostly mad at the Cottonwood Cove guys, because I think they were the ones that somehow irradiated all these legions, or all these NCRs over here, and so he's mad and he wants revenge. He wants you to wipe everybody out in Cottonwood Cove. And why would I want to wipe out everybody in Cottonwood Cove? The reason I'm thinking of is to be able to do the Follower's Quest for Boone. So, I've got a little ghoul. There we go. Not sure why I couldn't aim a little better there. But, in order to, you got to get Boone happy enough to give him your quest, and there's various things you can do, and this is one of them. This one you can actually get a couple of trust points from, I believe. And the problem is, I wasn't really thinking about Follower's Quest earlier. I kind of blew past some of the opportunities where I could have gotten some points with, like I could have, that thing where I let the prisoners out of the camp, out at the campfire. I could have done that with Boone and gotten some points, a couple of things like that, and I kind of let them go pass. And so now I'm down to this, which is a harder quest, and of course it does create issues with the Legion, but fortunately I have saved the.
Hang on there, Trevor. You want to steer clear of this
Astor.
place.
I have saved the get forgiven one time by the Legion thing. So what I can do is when I'm ready, I can come back down here and deal with that. But I'm not going to do that until I have a power armor.
They appear to be running a
slave
trading operation.
But when I have a power armor, I'll be able to fast travel, and a lot of things will be a little bit simpler and quicker from that point forward, because we are coming very close to the end of one of our challenges. So anyway, there's First Sergeant Astor. We've got all his information, and we will
head north toward Novak.
So now we're going to go back,
because it's a far,
just like he recommends, to Novak, and we're going to go over the ground that we have mostly cleared out before. Necessarily get all, as long as we're not close enough. Yeah, well, we got that stunned him, so I guess there's not too much. But mostly just heading north, keeping an eye on our flanks. So off to the west, there's another section of glowing ghoul type stuff. We'd be getting over there toward the raided farmstead area that we've already done. Mostly I want to get up north here without further incident. My plan is to not have further incident. Unless we left a cow. That's where the geckos are. I see geckos. Oh, a wolf. Coyote. Whatever they are. Come on through here. There's Legion happily sleeping. And who we got over there? Just avoid it. Go to the dinosaur. Check the mailboxes. Let's just see if this ever got fixed.
Look who's here.
You know, sometimes you come back later and something works right.
Find anything?
That frustrates me that quest didn't work. I just can't let it go. Just can't let it go. All right, so we'll get ourselves all slept and happy in the hotel room. Ever useful hotel room. Give ourselves a drink of water at the drink of water place at Helios. And off across the sneakity sneak desert. Looks like the ants are still down at this time. That's always convenient. Pick up some more jalapeno peppers. And we're working our way to Red Rock. Let's just sell off our whatever crud we have. Hello, my
I've still
identical
got
twin.
guns and ammo.
Sell the stuff, selling all the crud. Inventory management is so much fun. There, I made up a song. Okay, so let's see if Alexander has anything.
Still making a nuisance of yourself?
Yes, I'm still making a nuisance of myself. And maybe I want ammo if you have it, and I want it. But maybe not. So not for now. Back in our traveling clothes. And work our way over to Red Rock. It means we have to go around the Viper area again. We'll see if they're still down. But we can kind of come from the south here. Got some ant on my scope. It's actually kind of fun to go down that ant hole and kill the ant queen. Fire ant queen, big old bloated termite looking thing. But I can't think of any good reason to take that risk. I mean, you could always lob some grenades down at her. But I just don't think it's worth it. I remember what's over there. Just worried is just don't want it to be a death claw. Please, not any death claws of it, because yeah, that's the direction where it's just another ant. Okay, so we can work our way around the south of town. A little further south of here, you find powder gangers and things like that, but we don't need to go. They don't have much for us. Alright, as long as nothing's on our radar, we can sneak over here. I think there aren't any guys in this rock quarry. Whoa, danger! 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 Oh, that's unfortunate. We have been 351 of 410. We have been ganked by a guy who's not in his place. We didn't even have our full clothing on. So we are going to gear up, and it hopefully is just one guy. Oh, yeah, an energy weapon too. That's what's the problem. So we had to blow a stealth boy on that irritating fiend. That is irritating. These guys just have my number. Have my number. 351 of 410. That's my new number. And a number of points have gone into these irritating people. So, yeah, I should just always be sneaking. You know, I was just running in without sneaking. Would have been fine if I'd stayed and sneak. It is part of the challenge, you know, you're doing it especially doing it not fast travel, is being patient enough. And, you know, I guess I've been mostly patient enough, but I have certainly hemorrhaged some hit points to the lack of patience. But being down 51 or 61 is, 59, I guess, to do math correctly, is not terrible. Not terrible for this point in the game. we're still on track to be able to do this without death, at least to be able to do the main game. There's at least one piece of the DLC I really want to do because I think it's really cool. I am a big fan of Dead Money, so I want to get there and do Dead Money. So, I'm just mad at these guys. And I can't even hit them. Can't even hit them. Alright. Maybe.
Hello?
Ah! Well,
Hi,
that
are you there?
was an awkward moment for that to happen.
Okay,
Okay, so Edie finally went off. This is why we've been carrying Edie all around. And so Lorenzo, that's the same guy we got to bring
so they can examine it.
bring the air filters and stuff back to.
Sorry to break in.
Oh,
You
and now we
sounded
get to
truly
talk
riveting.
to the
I'm
followers
with
of
the
the
followers
apocalypse, and so we get the choice of who we're going to bring it to. And well, that was just. I'm sitting here in a sniper's nest trying to take out these guys that keep doing me damage, and all of a sudden I get yanked around by Edie. Okay, so now Edie, we want to take her to the Brotherhood, and we just did some challenge. I blew up something with Gunrunner's arsenal weapons. Alright, let's just move on up. Since I had to blow a stealth boy, I'm slightly shamelessly exploiting it. But just kind of want to take these guys down with overkill. Tired of taking damage from the same damn group of fiends. Around their area. This was where, remember Driver in the Fi? This is where he liked to hang out. Some of these guys are actually kind of going to obstruct my entrance to the next vault, too, so we'll go ahead and try to exterminate them. And after the vault, we'll be wanting to head directly back south to Brotherhood, so we'll be coming through here. Alright, here we go. Past the doggies. Now there's a cave that has some geckos in there. They seem to have spawned their guards. A big guy. These guys fire geckos, I think. And fire geckos you don't want to have get right up next to you, but again, they have no armor. Like all animals, they have no armor, and so you can just totally abuse them from a distance, especially with whatever it's called. Armor-piercing ammo. No, hollow point ammo, the thing that you do on unarmored things. Alright, so that is them. None of the dogs have respawned, and we are off to Red Rock. Let's see how we do. Excellent. And here we are to turn in our quest to these guys. Jeez, the Diane is the quest turner-inner person. And I'm going to take the recipe, because the recipe is the recipe for Turbo. And Turbo is going to be, it's a poor man's stealth boy, let's put it that way. And now she gives us, here's a fun little thing. if you just talk to her once,
you did good find.
she'll give you one quest. You can go deal with the Hostettlers or whatever.
Don't get. Here's the package.
But you can just talk to her again right away, and she'll give you another quest, and maybe that's a bug, but in any event, you can do it. And that's the quest that she needs a very suspicious package delivered to Motor Runner in the vault. And so that is the other quest we wanted to do when we go in the last vault. I'm going to buy up all the good drugs here. And I think we've already taught him everything we need to teach him. So let's get our traveling clothes back on and head back out of here. So we are ready to do, is it Vault 3? I think it's Vault 3. And it's not a hard vault to do as long as you go about it carefully and in the right way. It can be, it can be as hard as any one of them if you make everybody mad. But we can do it without any particular amount of combat by doing it the right way, and that's my plan. And so, with our hit points down to 351 of 410, but hey, we're still holding strong over 300, and we are going to stop here, and we will next time go and do that final vault and see if we can get our power armor. So, with that in mind, we'll see you next time when you only live once.